Elyse DeLucci Show. I am your host, Elyse. Welcome to my living room on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Episode 17, baby. Ooh, nearing towards 20. Okay, so the other day I was in the doctor's office and I'm filling out the form. I'm filling out the porn. No, I'm filling out the Freudian slip. I'm filling out the form in the lobby, and there was 7 boxes when it got down to the gender section of the form. So we're talking about that. Also, hookup culture, why a guy is so non-committal, a holiday recipe, Pignoli cookies, my favorite, an Italian delight around the holidays. So, take a sip of your drink, relax, and talk to me, Elyse. Back to the day. This is not going to surprise you. It didn't surprise me. The same area of our brain becomes activated when we experience rejection as when we experience physical pain. So basically, when you're rejected, whether in a relationship or say you didn't get the promotion that you prepared for, and that hurts so bad, and you're like, it physically hurts. Well, of course it does, because it's the same part of your brain that is hurting as if you fell off your bike, and scraped your knee. This shouldn't surprise us, though, right? Like, people get out of relationships, or I shouldn't say they get out. People have people break up with them, and it's torture. And they say, my heart is broken. Oh, I have such heartache. No, you're literally in pain. So that's the fact. Even the small rejections, like I said, they hurt. They hurt more than we think that they should, because they literally elicit the same exact pain as if it's a physical pain. That's the fact. So how was your week? Was it good? Your weekend was good? My weekend was okay. My kids were here. We had a lot of play dates, so that was fun. We went... I took them out to a couple of restaurants in the city. I don't usually take my kids to restaurants, but, everybody's so cooped up, and I just thought, nice special treat, outdoor dining. They have the heaters there, so fine. Listen to this. You're going to die. So I took them to a place called Numero 28. It's a Neapolitan pizza place. It's a chain around Manhattan. It's like this sort of brick oven pizza. You can't order a slice. You can only order a pie, right? So this is how bad the restaurant industry is in Manhattan right now. So I'm at the restaurant with my girlfriend. She has a daughter. I'm with my 2 daughters. I order a pizza. I order a small. They bring me a medium. The guy says to me when he brings the pizza, no, ma'am, you ordered a medium. I said, no, I ordered a small. He said, no, you ordered a medium. I said, listen, it's for 3 tiny kids, this pizza. I wouldn't have ordered a medium. Anyway, he's insisting I order the medium. So what am I going to do? Fight with the guy? He's like, I'll take it away. It's like, no, you're just going to throw it out. Well, guess what? That medium pizza was a lot more, than the small pizza. I felt at first he was doing that on purpose, but then, of course, I'm thinking I'm psychotic at this point. Until I looked at the bill, and the bill came, and not only did they have gratuity included, fine, some restaurants do that, they had a recovery charge. 10% extra on the bill. 10% extra. This recovery charge, like the law was passed in New York, I think it was in September, that if you're a restaurant, due to COVID, due to the pandemic, you can try to recoup some of the losses that you've incurred by this recovery charge. So by law, a restaurant is able to put an extra 10% charge on the bill. No questions asked. So here I am. I order a small pizza, the medium comes for more money. I have to pay whatever gratuity they insist on me paying because it's pre-done on the check. And now a recovery charge. I paid like $40 extra on this bill. I mean, can you imagine? And then, by the way, I took him to the diner, and the same damn thing with the recovery charge. I mean, really? What if you're a family in Manhattan like me? Come on. I mean, look, listen, my boyfriend's a business owner, okay, so he, in the city, so he really is feeling all this stuff, and I, of course, am feeling it as well as his girlfriend, and it's terrible. It's terrible for the restaurants, any of those kind of service businesses, even the retail businesses. But what do? You pass the cost on to the consumer. Well, not all the consumers are working or making the same sort of money as they did. Or, I don't know, maybe people are budgeting. It's depressing. Anyway. Okay, so holiday recipe. I said all of the podcasts from now until the end of the year, until the holiday season's over, I'm going to do a recipe. So today, I'm going to tell you about a recipe that I love, Pignoli cookies. Do you know them? Pignoli cookies? They're pine nut, round, sort of golden color cookies. They're Italian. They're delicious. They're sort of like, like hard-ish on the outside, so soft and delectable on the inside. And the top, they're studded with pine nuts, what we call pignolis. Anyway, so these are these are the easiest cookies to make because it's only a few ingredients. And you don't have to do anything ridiculous. You just make them and you're done. Everyone likes these cookies. Well, you know what I should say? If you like almond paste. So the cookie they made with almond paste, egg whites, the pignolis. The cookie, like I said, soft and chewy on the inside, moist underneath these pine nuts. And, the reason why Italian people make these cookies around the holiday is, just to be quite honest, is that the almond paste and pine nuts, those are expensive ingredients. So a lot of Italian people just make them around the holidays. So, okay, this is how you make them. You need 8 ounces. Here's the recipe, so if you want to write it down. 8 ounces of almond paste. Now, let me just say, I like this one brand of almond paste. It's called Solo. It's a little rectangular box. That's the brand that I like, but there's other brands. They sell it in tubes right in the baking aisle. So here's the recipe. 8 ounces of almond paste, 8 ounces of sugar, so like 1 cup and 2 tablespoons, 2 egg whites, room temperature preferred, if not, no big deal, and 2 cups of pignoli nuts, okay? This is all we're going to do. Preheat the oven to 350. In a shallow dish, whatever you have, a baking dish, a regular plate, pour the pine nuts in the plate, right? And now in a baking tray, a couple of baking trays, line those baking trays with parchment paper if you have them. If you don't have them, you might want to grease it up with a little butter or something. Take your stand mixer or a hand mixer, whatever, a bowl and a mixer, whatever you got. And all you're going to do is you're going to mix the almond paste and the sugar together so it looks like a coarse sand. You want the sugar and the almond paste to come together to like a sand kind of texture, a coarse sand. Once it does that, you're going to add in the egg whites and you're going to continue to mix it until it all comes together. And then all you're going to do is you're going to take a little spoon or your hands, I use my hands, clean hands, and you take about 1/4 of an inch of little dough, right? Roll it in a little ball. Roll it then onto the pignoli nut. So just roll that little ball of dough right onto the plate. And then put the cookie on the grease sheet pan or on the pan with the parchment paper. And that's it. Bake it for 20 minutes. You're done. When they come out of the oven, you got to let them sit for a little bit to cool. But the cookies, these cookies, they'll last for like a week and a half, sometimes even 2 weeks. I mean, take a little bite if you're leaving them for 2 weeks. But they're so good. They're so good. A lot of people have recipes for pignoli cookies. I've tried a lot of different recipes. This is the one that I like the best. And you know what? It's just easy. It's just easy. If you want, by the way, you could put a little powdered sugar on them. I don't because, it's just more fuss. But they are delish. Anyway, if you make them, let me know. And by the way, if you have any holiday cookie recipes, oh my God, send me the recipe on Instagram or on TikTok. I love making other people's recipes. I think I might have said that on another podcast. Anyway. Okay. Why is it me or are you noticing that everybody is so non-committal these days? Like, you know what I'm talking about? I'm not necessarily talking, listen, people are non-committal with plans, I feel like, since the dawn of time. It's like you make a plan and then are you all really going to get together? Like, who the fuck knows, right? But I'm not necessarily talking about plans or planning a vacation or should you buy the green turtleneck or the blue one. I'm talking about the dating. It's ridiculous. I sometimes pick non-committal men. You know what? I don't know. Probably because I have some issues. Probably because I have some deep-rooted, deep-seated child issues. I'll get back to you on that. But it's not. This is not just me thinking that my invisible antennas are up for non-committal men. No, this is all my friends that date on the apps or if they meet a guy at the bar. They all say the same thing. What the fuck? Nobody wants a girlfriend. Nobody wants a boyfriend. Everybody's so non-committal, and it's because we live in this hookup culture. We were just talking about this. All everybody wants to do is hook up. They're committed to being non-committal. How ridiculous is that? So one of my older friends, she's like, Elyse, what's hookup culture? And I'm like, hookup culture. I'm sure you know what hookup culture is, right? It's like, shacking up. You do it literally. You're doing something sexual, and then you're like, bye, Daniel. See you never. That's what it is. It's literally like I told her, hookup, it's like just some form of intimacy. The hookup is brief. It can be a couple of minute hookup. So you remember 7 Minutes in Heaven? Remember that game? Anyway, I was never in the closet with anybody. I was such a nerd. But the hookup, it could be from a few minutes. It could be several hours. It could be a one night stand. But the second it's over, it's like the guy disappears or the girl. It's literally, I said to her, it's literally just a physical thing. No one does anything to connect emotionally, or God forbid, gasp, get attached. No, God forbid you got attached. That would be the opposite of hookup culture. But so here's the thing. I'm just thinking, so why are we so non-committal? But really the guys, like, why are these guys so non-committal? This is what my thoughts on it. They either, one, have too many options, and two, a fear of failure or hurt. I mean, don't you agree with that? Right? But yet, okay, let's talk about the options for a second. Think about this. If we're dating 20 years ago, where are your options coming from, guy? Okay? You go into the bar, you go into the club, you're hoping that maybe there's a cute girl or guy in your office, or your friend has some cute friends, right? Or maybe set you up on a blind date. Those are your options. But now, forget it. Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, which, by the way, Bumble, aka Crumble, okay? Hinge, aka Cringe. I can't. But it's like all these guys, they have a smorgasbord of apps right in front of them. They literally get unlimited access to potential suitresses. And us too. I mean, listen, us too. But if you're in Manhattan and you're using the apps, it's literally, it's like one guy to every 4 girls. So it's like a Shark Tank around here is what I'm trying to tell you. But right, so if there's endless options, how does anybody just pick one? And this is the problem. And then the other thing is like this FOMO, right? So there's too many options, and then there's FOMO, the fear of missing out. It's like, so say you meet Suzanne on Tinder, say, and you like Suzanne, you're going out on a couple of dates. But, you still have, maybe you hid your Tinder profile for a little bit. Maybe you still have a couple of apps going. Or maybe you're a decent guy and you closed all of them, right? Well, guess what? All of a sudden, maybe if you have a little argument with Suzanne, or whatever, you start sweating. You start thinking about, oh my God, there could be other girls out there. Is this the real one that I'm choosing? Is this the one I'm settling on? There's plethora of women per app at my disposal. Disposal, note the word. Disgusting, right? Right. So why? Guys, I mean, guys already are like, not the most emotional, right? They don't really want to be attached all the time. Except if you find one ripe. My grandmother used to say, you got to find a guy ripe for the picking. That's true. If you find one ripe for the picking. And I have to say, and girl, because I'm trying to be PC here. But it's like, if you find somebody ripe, then they're at the right time, the right place, they have all the right things going, then you're in luck, baby. But that's like winning the lotto. But it's like, the odds of that happening is just slim to none. So it's like, if all of a sudden Suzanne seems lovely to you, and then you're thinking about all the other people that you could possibly hook up with, and are we settling for Suzanne when we could have a constant stream of other broads? It's like, what? Like, if you're a guy, right? Why would you just settle for oatmeal every day when you can have oatmeal, eggs, waffles, Belgian waffle, pancakes, ooh, a turkey club for breakfast. It's the buffet of women. Oh, it makes me crazy. And, listen, us women, we are also at fault of that. Sometimes it's nice just to keep the door ajar a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about options is if you're always thinking that there's other options, this is my take on it. I said to my friend, if you're always thinking that there's other options, how are you ever really giving yourself to somebody like 100%? Because you can't really invest yourself, right? Like, how can you really invest yourself in one other person if you are always thinking about what else there could be out there? I mean, I think that, like, real good, solid relationships, it's like you're just completely committed and you're completely giving yourself to the other person. And that's not saying that you're all in all the time, because, obviously relationships fail and all that. But I don't know. I just think this whole too many options is one of the reasons why people are so damn non-committal. And the other reason, let me take a sip of water. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. The other reason is, I think, the fear of failure or the fear of getting hurt. Like, okay, some people hate to fail. I'm not one of them. Hear me out on this. I'm not one of them. I really can't relate to this. A lot of my girlfriends are like, the thought of getting out of another relationship kills me, or the thought of getting hurt again kills me. You know what? I don't give a shit. I really don't. I should say, I'm not, like, made of steel over here. I mean, of course I don't want to get hurt again, but I don't hate to fail. I really don't. I just keep, I think I probably have some, like, repetition disorder. I just keep doing the same thing over and over again. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to throw myself to the wolves. I'm going to throw myself right into the man wolves. And you know what? I'll survive. That's really how I feel. I really, really do. So I can't relate to this feel of failure or getting hurt, but I think that's one of the reasons. That's my other sort of thought on why everything is so non-committal. Like, and you know, there's that expression. What's the expression? It's you know that one. You know it. It's like we miss 100% of the shots we don't take. So, you know, it's like for all you people out there, right, including my girlfriends listening, like if you are scared to fail, if you're scared of getting hurt, you're never going to even know if you don't try. Okay, failure is always possible, but you need to try. If you don't, like, no risk, no reward. If you don't try, you're never going to win or fail. So, I don't know. I just can't deal with I'm always having one toe out. You know? Like, you have the fear of commitment is crippling, okay? I think it stems from trust issues, obviously, if your spouse cheated on you, if you obviously got really hurt before, and it hurts so bad. I mean, and nobody wants to obviously re-experience that. But you know what? You got to do it. You got to do it. That's my message to the men. There's no men listening to this. Maybe there are. I think actually I know there's a few men that listen. But you know what? Listen. Stop being so goddamn non-committal, okay? If you meet a girl, just give her a freaking chance. You know, like, okay, I have a boyfriend right now. Let me tell you something. When I met him, I shouldn't say when I first met him. I should say after we met and we went out, you know, a few times, right? Like, I was going out with other people. He was going out with other people. And then I was just thinking, you know, like, it would be nice maybe to, like, try a relationship again, you know, whatever. You know, and he's like, no, I need to date other people. And I'm like, why? Why do you need to? Tell me why. And lo and behold, now he's my boyfriend and I'm his girlfriend. Because you want to know what? It's like I said to guy, we got the same values, we want the same things, we agree on everything, we're from the same culture, we laugh, we have a good time. Get over yourself. What are you looking for out there? Right? So, and besides, he's older than me. So, like, what are you really? What are you really doing out there? I would say his name, but he would faint, so I could never do that. Anyway. Okay. So, I was at an appointment the other day, right? So, I'm at the appointment. You know, they hand you one of these forms, right? It was on an iPad. And, you know, they're like, oh, fill out the form. First of all, the form is fucking 1,000 pages. Like, really? I don't even read ebooks for this reason because my finger gets tired of swiping. But I have to fill out the form. So, you know, it's like name, address, you know, whatever, date of birth, blah, blah. And then, it says sex. So I check female. Although when I was younger and used to go to the gay clubs, hi, James, people used to think that I was like a man in drag. I don't know why, but because the bigger the hair, the closer to God. At least that's why. But no, so I fill out the sex. And then it says genders. And there's 7 genders, 7 boxes. Like, and I could check one of the boxes, or I guess I could check 2. And so I said to the woman, you know, like, I said, you know, oh, I just filled out, and it wouldn't let me go past this thing, right? So I was like, I just filled out, you know, sex, female, but, you know, it's like 7 genders. Like, I don't really know what these are. And the girl at the desk is like, ma'am, what's your gender expression? And I'm just like, huh? And she's like, your gender expression is about how you act and present yourself to the world. Like, you're wearing a skirt. You have lipstick on. So what does that mean? And I'm like, I'm a girl. You know, like, I never heard that before. I never went to an appointment or, you know, I don't know, how to fill something out and somebody asked me what my gender expression was. So so here's the thing. There's nothing funny about this to me. I am merely sharing this story. Here's the deal. If you want to talk about me specifically, I mean, and through my life, I'm a confused girl. Okay, I've always been confused. I mean, one day I have feminine energy, right? and I want to be fawned on and sit on a pedestal, and the next day I'm thinking I want to be a CEO and I have all this masculine energy. If I'm really going to get into the weeds of this gender thing, I mean, it's even confusing to me. So I want to tell you what the genders were. I wrote them down. And then, of course, I had to look them all up because I didn't want to be uneducated. So if you're like me and you go to an appointment or somebody asks you what your gender is and there's 1,000 boxes, this is what you might see. So, okay, transgender, two-spirit, cisgender, non-binary, genderqueer, gender fluid, and gender neutral. This is a lot of genders. This is a lot of bacon here, okay? So let me tell you what they are. Okay, we're blowing through this, okay? Transgender, I think we all know what that is, right? Like, if you were assigned something at birth and obviously you feel that you're really something else. Transgender. Two-spirit. I actually could relate to two-spirit. It means a person who walks between two genders. So they carry both, like, male and female energy. Like, or they feel like maybe they could be both at some times. So they consider themselves two-spirit genders. I get that. I totally get that. Cisgender it's the term when somebody uses to describe what the gender it was at birth. So, for example, if you're a girl and you have a vagina, then you are a female, and that's cisgender. Okay, so that's pretty easy. Non-binary, I feel like you might know what this is too. Non-binary, a person that doesn't identify as a man or a woman, or solely a man or a woman. So it's kind of like anybody that exists outside of man and woman. So, if you feel like both, or maybe, you were born both. I shouldn't say feel like both. I think it's if you were born both. That's that. Genderqueer. So someone might identify as genderqueer if their gender identity isn't male or female. So it's some combo of genders. I really don't actually understand that one, to be honest. Like, if your gender identity is not male or female and it's beyond the genders, or it's a combination, I don't know what that is. So I'm confused on that one. And if you know, let me know. And then the two more, gender fluid and gender neutral. Gender fluid is basically, that means that, it's fluid. The gender fluidity, I guess you could say. It's like your gender changes over time. So, maybe like in the earlier part of your life, like you were a tomboy, you felt like you were maybe a guy, a man, a boy. And then as you got older, you felt like you just changed into your female body. I'm talking about, obviously, if you were born with female body parts. So gender fluid. And then gender neutral is somebody that feels that they're not man or woman, and they just identify as gender neutral. I don't understand the difference between gender queer and gender neutral. So if you know this, tell me. Here's the thing. If you're gender neutral, if you don't feel male or female, and you identify as gender neutral, fine. But how is that different from gender queer, which is somebody that, they're saying their gender identity is not male or female, and it's beyond the two or combos. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I'm just going to cut to the chase. That's all I have to say about the issue. I wanted to let you guys know I was confused at the doctor's office, and I had to pick one of these, and I think I picked two-spirit, and I think I picked cisgender. Is that the one where, or when you're born with the parts? And you know what? And after that, I didn't want to fill out the fucking other 999 pages of form, okay? Because, you know what? Listen, guys. I got 2 daughters, okay? And sometimes when I'm crazy around the house, cooking, whatever I'm doing, I'm calling my daughters by different names. I can't even remember their names. Now I'm supposed to keep track of 7 genders and gender profiles and which one I'm feeling at all times. I'm verklempt. I'm exhausted. I'm so exhausted, I'm hungry. Can you relate to that? Anyway. Look, it was a really good show on TLC a few years ago. Did you watch it? It was called My Name is Jazzy or something. And it was about a family in Florida. And they had a little boy. And he was born with boy body parts, and he just felt like he was a girl. And it was very interesting to watch. I watched the whole thing. You maybe could watch on YouTube or something. And you obviously could read about this all over the place, but it's hard to wrap your head around, for me at least. I think if you're one of the younger listeners, you're probably like, yeah, Elyse, what the fuck is your problem? This is normal. And I know it's normal. But when I was growing up, these terms didn't exist. So, I feel a little bit like my grandma learning the internet. But but the internet makes sense, and once you learn it, you feel great. So, it's that thing. Okay, so I do a product. You know this. I want to tell you something. I feel like, do I say this all the time? How I found the best of everything. No, like, this is the best. Not every product I think is the absolute best, but this one is really good. I love nightgowns. I've talked about this on TikTok before. I love house dresses, all that kind of stuff. I cannot stand coming home and keeping my jeans on, outside jeans on the couch, please. Ugh. Or like, I need my bra off. I mean, I'm sure you're the same. I need the bra off. I need everything off. I usually even like to shower, and then I like to put on my house dress or my nightgown. So I found the best house clothes / nightgown on Amazon. I cannot pronounce the brand, so I'm going to spell it for you. It's like, well, I should say, I think it's something like Ekouer or something. This is how you spell it. Ekouaer. Okay? Ekouaer. I call it Ekouer. I don't even think I'm saying it right. I probably didn't even take the time to pronounce it properly. But basically, it's the one that I like. I have in a couple colors. Let me read you the thing. Ekouer women's sleepwear, full slip, lace, nightgown, cotton, jersey, lingerie. I mean, really, Amazon? I'm saying this all the time. The product name's got to go. But here's the thing. This nightgown is so soft. It's like that modal fabric, like in Target. Like those Stars Above line that they have that sort of replaced that Jillian O'Malley. So it's like soft like that modal soft fabric. It's cotton. It's stretchy. I think there might be a little polyester or something, but it's not like sweaty polyester, because I would tell you if it was. So for $24.99, this is the nightgown. And I actually think that that's probably pricey for a nightgown, considering I could go into TJ Maxx and buy one for $12.99. But the thing is that this is like butter on the skin. So I justify the expense. But let me tell you, these run a little big. So I would normally buy a medium or even a large, but I actually buy a small in this brand. So I get a small. This specific one that I like, it's a little above the knee. It has a V-neck, like a little bit of a V-neck, not like a hook of V-neck. Okay, a little V-neck. It has lace trim. It's so soft, and it's like a little, it's a little sexy. And I guess it's a little sexy. It's it's flowy, but it's nice. And what I like about it, it's not fitted. It's not fitted. So like the little V-neck, and it kind of just like hangs down. I don't want to say it flares out, but maybe an A-line. I don't know. But it's very flattering. It's so comfortable. But the best thing about this brand, Ekouer, or Ekouaer, is that they have a ton of styles. So in the summer, they have long floor-length nightgowns, which I love, with like spaghetti straps. I have a couple of those. They have 3/4 sleeve ones. They have the top and the bottom. But I like the floor-length ones in the summer, and I like these little shorties just year-round. I just love them. I think you should check it out. Okay. So every week, I take questions from the audience, and I answer them. So here is the question of this week. Elyse, how did you get over your ex-husband? Did you let go of the good memories and move on? So I got this question last week on TikTok. Thank you to the woman who sent it to me. And people have asked me this before. So here's the thing. I never got over my ex-husband. I mean, is that I don't even know. Is that normal? I don't think I'm ever going to get over my ex-husband. And in terms of like letting the good memories go and move on, no, I'm not letting the good memories go. Have I moved on? Yeah. I mean, right? Like, what else is there to do? Am I just what am I going to do? I'm just going to sit home and say, I didn't get over him, and I'm going to hang on to the good memories and not move on? Like, I'm going to move on. But I'm not going to let go of the good memories. Like, the trick, though, is with that, for me, or I should say the tricky thing for me, is that there were so many good goods, and then there were so many bad bads, and the good goods was so good. He was so good at, like, lots of different things, right? And he's an awesome dad. So it's like, those good memories are permeated in my brain forever and ever till the day I die. However, I have to keep it in check that, like, not all guys are going to do things like he did them, the good things that he did, And not all guys are going to do the shitty things he did. But I'm never going to let go of the good memories. I mean, I don't think about them every single day, but I'm not letting go of them. I know I've known my ex-husband for so long. We met when we were young, so it's just not possible. And, getting over him, look, I mean, the reality situation is, you know, we come from different worlds. Like I don't know if I've said this before, but I'm Italian, born and raised in New York, and like I've traveled around and whatnot. But and he was, he's from the UK, and he was born in other places and traveled another place and traveled all over the world. And I thought, I've traveled around because I used to live in Italy when I was in college for a little bit. So I just thought, I've traveled around, I've seen things, this will be fine. But really, we were from two different worlds. That wasn't the problem, though. That wasn't the problem at all. It was just that foundationally, I'm sorry, I'm so thirsty. It's so terrible that I'm taking a sip of water on this podcast, but I'm dying of thirst over here. Anyway, it's like foundationally, we had so many things that were challenging, like I don't know, like sometimes politics, religion, obviously just cultural things. Like I would celebrate holidays one way, he would celebrate things another way. I maybe celebrated something and he didn't, or vice versa. And, we worked through that for so many years. But once we had kids, it just got so hard. And then, look, like I have my flaws. I'm not perfect. He is not perfect. He has his flaws. And our personalities, like, just clash so much. And we would have the worst arguments, like the worst arguments. And I literally couldn't deal with it. I just couldn't deal with it. So, sometimes I don't feel like I ever got over him. I feel like sometimes I was defeated. I feel like that I just wasn't strong enough to, like, just keep plowing through. I mean, knowing that, okay, we're having these crazy, crazy arguments and that there's light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, and look, there's other things that went on too, right? Like that were just so hard to deal with. Like we had different sex drives. I mean, that was like a big thing, right? And it was just freaking hard. But I didn't get over him. I love him. I will always love him. Even my boyfriend now, when I talk about my ex, my boyfriend says, "You always say such nice things about him, Elyse. Like, I don't even know. Like, what, like, why don't you stay with him?" And I'm just like, well, I didn't stay with him for X, Y, and Z. And you know the reason why I didn't stay with him, okay? But I say, I love him. He's the father of my children. He was wonderful to me for a lot of years. And sometimes things just don't work out. So I hope that answered your question. I mean, if you want to, you could always ask me a follow-up, but I didn't really get over him. And I don't think I'm ever going to get over him. And I think that if you are in a real loving, so like going back to that non-committal stuff, I think if you're in a real committal, loving, long relationship or marriage, or you have kids and you had any good times, which I'm sure you have, you must have had at least a couple good times, right? Are you really ever going to get over that person? No. I think it's just like accepting the reality, maybe the defeat or whatever, and just trying to move on. So that is my answer to that. And I hope that maybe that makes sense. Anyway, quote of the day by Winston Churchill. Ooh, a Brit. So apropos as I'm talking about my ex-husband. Okay, here it is. We make a living by what we get, and we make a life by what we give. That's so good. I love that. We make a living by what we get, obviously. If you get paid $50,000 a year, you make a living by what you get. You get that amount of money. But we make a life by what we give. I think that's just such a nice thing. Because they say, the more that you give, the more you get out of life and all that. And I love it. I think that quote's great for around Thanksgiving time. So anyway, that's the end of our show. I felt like today was a little bit of a shorty, no? Episode 17. You shorty you. But thank you. Thank you for listening to the Elyse DeLucci Show, as usual. Make sure you subscribe if you want on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Again, you can leave a review if you want. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Instagram. Check me out wherever. And I'm hoping that I'm going to have some details for shows anytime soon, although Manhattan feels like it's just never opening. Anyway, talk to you soon. Ciao, ciao.